has to dig a pond to see the frogs jump in.
Like a lot of racers today, my friends and I were always in desire of the newest fads and hot equipment on the racing scene. We couldn't afford it, but still had mild success. Once we got older, though, and got good paying jobs, we went all out on a spending frenzy. Much to our surprise, the new stuff didn't have much effect on our success at all. We learned our lesson the hard way. It's not the equipment that makes the win, it's the knowledge. Once we learned how to use these new pricey gadgets, we discovered that we could have saved a lot of money and frustration if we stuck to the basics. And now we are passing this knowledge on to you. In the next 45 minutes, you'll witness a comprehensive collection of the many facets of racing. Tips will range from the basic to the not-so-basic. Only you can evaluate which ones are best suited to the level of fun and competition you desire. If any of them cause you to brain cramp, stop and go on. Don't dwell on anything until the best time to tackle it comes. The ultimate goal of anything is happiness, isn't it? When you see racers brain cramping over the latest equipment that they can't afford, realize that they are wasting their time. Time that you should use to practice the things that really make a difference. The things that money can't buy. Before you race, you must have a car, and for the novice racer, we strongly suggest the 1/10 scale off-road type. Not only are the cars the most popular, which makes parts and accessories widely available, but they're also the most versatile. Having four-wheel independent suspension gives them the ability to be converted for racing on almost any surface. These cars can be made very competitive on both asphalt oval and dirt oval tracks, as well as what they were built for off-road. When you choose a car, you want to buy one made specifically for racing. In this case, we're looking for four-wheel independent suspension and oil-filled shocks on all corners. We chose the Losi Junior 2 as a good indication of a budget race car. The Associated Team car is an example of a good middle-of-the-line race car, and for a car designed all out specifically for one class, we chose the Custom Works Intimidator. For the truck class, we used the RC10T, and we also used an old-style RC10 in novice class. Other races on our team utilized the Losi JR-XT racing truck and the Losi JR-X Pro racing car. Throughout the video, we will show you how our racers specifically modified their cars for each racing surface, and we'll also show you how well they did in many local and area races throughout the year. Often, the only difference between a fast car and a slow car on the track is not the car at all, but the driver. Many beginning drivers get caught in the trap of blaming their problems upon the car instead of their driving or tuning, and this is a trap we must avoid like the plague. This is especially true in dirt racing, where driving is one of the most important factors to winning. This fact makes dirt racing especially appealing to the underdog racer, since battery packs and motors aren't nearly as critical as they are in oval racing. Even though the asphalt oval tends to be a lot more equipment extensive for the competitive racer, we do suggest it is an excellent way to learn how to drive. Asphalt has three important advantages to the beginning driver. It's a lot easier to find and maintain asphalt tracks. The cars stay a lot cleaner and maintenance is a lot lower, and they're a lot more consistent, which allows the beginner to learn the suspension tuning a lot easier. Most of the racers on our team got started this way by doing what we call parking lot bashing. We took 4 metal plow discs and we'd set them up in a rough oval and race. After a while, we developed the need for more speed and found that traction was a problem. We couldn't get most of the push out of our cars, and if we did set them up to be sensitive to steering, they would oversteer real easy. So then we discovered what some of the local big asphalt racers were doing. They're doing what we call sugar coating. This entails mixing approximately 1 pound of sugar for every gallon of water and spraying or misting it lightly upon the circumference of the track. Depending on the temperature, it will usually dry within about half an hour to 2 hours and leaves a very tacky, sticky surface, which works very well. Garden sprayers work very well for this purpose, and another budget racetrack tip we have discovered is garden hose. Garden hose can be used very effectively to draw the outlines of a track. Remember, the main purpose of these parking lot sessions are to have a lot of fun and learn how to drive, so try to keep all the cars set up equally by using gearing to slow down the fast cars. Remember, the idea is to have fun. The effect of suspension adjustments will cause one of three things to happen: oversteer, understeer, or neutrality. Oversteer occurs when the car is oversensitive to steering input, and usually this will be seen as the rear end of the car kicking out or spinning out completely. Understeer is when the front of the car doesn't have sufficient traction and thus doesn't have enough grip to turn the car. This will be seen as a tendency for the car to push or plow. And neutrality is when all four corners of the car possess equal traction. This is usually the suspension balance of choice, although some drivers will prefer a little bit of push or a little bit of oversteer.
Remember, to get maximum cornering output, you must achieve a balance. Think of car as yin and yang. Front is yin, rear is yang. Or vice versa. It does not matter. Only want same grip on yin as on yang. Too much yin will make yang go crazy. It will not stay on track. Too much yang, yin will be overpowered. Balance is lost and the car will not go where you want it.
The way a car responds in a corner is determined primarily by the front to rear balance. A car with too much front traction in relation to the rear will tend to oversteer, and a car with too much rear traction in relationship to the front will tend to understeer. Be careful not to confuse this with driving. Sometimes, if you use too much power or too much brakes in a corner, you can cause a car to oversteer when it really has a tendency to understeer. Often a car's handling tendencies will change as we go through a corner. To help demonstrate the different changes suspension adjustments will make, we'll break the corner down into three parts, which we will call corner entry, mid-corner, and corner exit. There are two basic elements we will work with to adjust the car's balance, and these are contact patch and weight transfer. Contact patch is the part of the tire that's in direct physical contact with the ground, and weight transfer is the way the car's weight is transferred through the contact patches as the car goes through a corner. Generally, the more weight that is transferred onto a corner, the more traction that corner will have. But this is not always true. It is possible to get too much weight transferred onto a tire and overload it. There are three basic things that influence contact patch: tire design, the way we set the suspension, and the design of the suspension. There are four things that influence weight transfer: weight and its place on the car, wheel rate, shock rate, which we also call dampening, and the design of the suspension. Wheel rate is the amount of force it takes to move the wheel up a given distance, not including dampening. The most common adjustment we will use to adjust wheel rate is preload. Preload is how far the spring is put into compression by the shock collar. Spring rate also changes wheel rate. Spring rate is how much force it takes to depress the spring a given distance. On most cars, we can vary the leverage arm to influence the dampening in the spring rate. By moving the shock mounting point inwards or outwards, we can give it more or less spring and dampening. Shock rate provides resistance to change or dampening in the suspension movement. It is affected by the leverage arm, the viscosity